We have a lot to unpack at the roundtable this morning, and joining us are Democratic political analyst Marianne Marsh and Republican political analyst Rob Gertz. Great to see you guys as always. Governor Healey was in the chair. Marianne, what's your takeaway?
You know, she's been in the office for about 18 months now, and you listen to the litany of problems she went through here, but you're getting a sense of how she governs, right? She's inherited all these problems. She puts a point person in charge, filling at the T, but, you know, Kate Walsh with Stewart and others, and really tells people what the problem is, defines it, here's what we're doing, here's how we're going to tackle it, keeps them up to date, and that's refreshing. And she actually, to me, looks like the point guard she's always been and kind of relishes the actually, you know, playing the game, leading the charge, and trying to get things done.
Love the basketball analogy. Rob.
I mean, it was interesting to me. She's taking the common sense middle road on these campus protests. She really spoke out in support of colleges and the cops cracking down. And to me, I mean, it's a good position, but it's also contrary to a lot of other people in her party who are kowtowing to these protesters and letting them run rampant.
Big shift from President Biden in the past week on the war in Gaza. He's holding back a shipment of bombs to Israel, ones that could be used in a full-scale attack on Rafah. Here's what the president said last week.
If they go into Rafah, I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities, to deal with that problem.
All right, the policy shift is now a major talking point in the presidential race. Of course, a lot is still going on diplomacy-wise behind the scenes. Is this helping or hurting Biden's bid for re-election, Rob?
Well, I think he's straddling the fence, and that's a bad look for a president or any politician. He also this week said, you know, talked about the ironclad alliance with Israel. This is anything ironclad, what he said. He looks like he's playing to the ultra-left wing of the party, these campus protesters who are pro-Hamas, anti-American. Bad look for somebody who needs moderate votes.
But if you tell an ironclad ally not to do something and they do it, it still doesn't make you look good, though, does it?
Well, I think you can get into the facts. I mean, I think he's probably wrong on the facts. He's doing this to make a political point. The munitions they're talking about are actually more targeted. You can argue that, you know, if you're at war, it's better for the general population, for the Israelis to have these munitions.
Marianne?
Well, on the political part of this, I don't overestimate whether this is on voters' radar screens. It is not. And in fact, the younger voters, and you look at the Kennedy School poll, they just finished the youth vote, 18 to 29. Out of 16 issues, this is number 15. So for all the coverage, it doesn't matter to voters right now. Number two is Biden's drawn a line with Netanyahu because he shouldn't be killing innocent civilians. That's a war crime. And in fact, Bibi Netanyahu is under investigation for that very thing, committing war crimes. So Biden's saying, look, whether it's Gaza or Rafah, I'm not giving you the weapons to kill innocent civilians. That's the line he's drawing.
Where's the tough talk on Hamas from Biden?
He's done plenty of that, but it's Bibi. You can be for Israel. You don't have to be for Bibi Netanyahu. You can be for innocent Palestinian civilians getting slaughtered by Bibi Netanyahu, who will go to The Hague after this, just like Putin for what he's done in Ukraine. That's what's going on here. And so Biden's sending that signal to him. Stop it. The way you're prosecuting this war, you're going to end up being prosecuted for it.
I'm just waiting. Next topic. Former President Donald Trump's hush money trial resumes in New York tomorrow. Stormy Daniels will not be on the stand, but the storm over her testimony keeps going. A lot of information about a sexual encounter that Trump denies, maybe too much. But Marianne, is this the type of spectacle that could really hurt him with voters?
Well, what we know from the polling is voters said if he is convicted of a felony, this case or any other, it absolutely hurts him in the polling. So that's the issue here, not the salacious details and all that. It's whether or not he's a convicted felon, and we'll see soon enough whether he is.
Rob, I'm curious. What do you think?
I think that voters have already factored in that this guy's a philanderer who cheats at business. So what's being debated in the courtroom is not news to them. It's helping Trump because you basically have these very liberal prosecutors going after him, doing it with a lot of cheap shots in terms of, you know, evoking all these, you know, sex issues and other talk in the trial. People think he's under attack from the liberal media that helps him with average Americans.
But not in a general election.
Well, believe it or not, that was not the most surprising political story of the past week. RFK Jr. was. His quixotic run for president took an even stranger turn. He claims a parasitic worm ate part of his brain, then died. Now, that happened more than a decade ago. Kennedy has not released any medical records to back up that claim. It was in a divorce deposition. Will this do anything to eat away his relevance in the campaign. Marianne, I'll punt that one to you.
It's an apt analogy, isn't it? Because any vote for Bobby Kennedy Jr. is a vote to end democracy, and democracy will die if he gets any traction in this race. But it's also about transparency. He talks about it, but he hasn't released his medical records. He says one day he's for a national abortion ban, and the next one he says you can have an abortion on the very last day that you're pregnant. You go down the list. January 6th, hardly criticizes it, hired a social media guy who was there on that day. You can go down the list. So Bobby Kennedy, a vote for him is a vote to end our democracy.
Rob?
I mean, I'm more interested in the backstory of how it came out. It's from a divorce case from over a decade ago.
Don't you think it was Oppo research, some kind of political
Oppo
Oppo
research? But is it
from
Oppo
whom?
research from his own family
Yeah,
that
well,
was
I
at
think-
the White House for a big family photo a few weeks ago?
Ding, 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 we have a winner.
Yeah, he did have a cousin also saying that he's pumped up on steroids and not very smart, and yeah, it's starting to get pretty ugly in the Kennedy clan.